he mentioned black smoke and the bleeding earth. But we could never figure out exactly...
We?
Yeah, Sindri's been helping me. Look, I talked him into it. It wasn't his idea. I just needed someone to watch my back.
Black smoke. Bleeding earth. Could the prison be in Muspelheim?
Unlikely. Odin's got no presence to speak of in the primordial realms. But the bleeding earth? Sounds like a mine, aye.
The realm of the dwarves, perhaps?
Svartalfheim, that's a good bet. Their mines did belch black smoke, and Odin's had his thumb on the dwarves for a very long time.
That's it then. Tears in Svartalfheim somewhere, imprisoned in a mine. So, what now?
Home.
This way.
Lad, even if we consider looking for Tyr, how do you have us getting to Svartalfheim? You know Odin's had all travel between realms locked up tight.
Sindri said he had an idea or two about that.
Sindri is full of ideas.
Will receive everything he needs thanks to auto ship from Chewy.
What a twist.
For generations, Ridgestone has made tires. Today, we're still tirelessly at work, doing our part to help ensure the journey is safer, smarter, better.
I was dismembered in Florida. And Florida it's being sold to everybody as the state. And I love parts of Florida. There's parts of Florida that I love. Palm Beach. Now, but there is the rest of it. Now, obviously, Miami's great, and I'm kidding. The West Coast, Tampa, and St. Pete, all that's great. But you do have to remember that 90% of Florida, geographically, is an unlivable hell where things go on. And it's not a political statement. I'm not like, that's Ron DeSantis, that's fault. No, it's just, this is a place where people eat each other. This is a place where there is, behavior that is biblical. Biblical behavior. Where you look at it and you go, this is something I don't even understand. I don't even understand this. Chicago, you're on my block. I'm on your block. Boom. You know, Florida's like, I'm gonna dismember someone. I'm gonna dissolve them in a bathtub. I'm gonna choke a pit bull. Things you don't think about. You know, you don't think about someone choking a pit bull, but people do. And then New Florida, a demonic MS-13 gang member. By the way, I'm not saying that. The New York Post did, so I have no issue with this Salvadorian. A demonic MS-13 gang member robbed and dismembered a Uber Eats driver in Florida for no apparent reason last week. Oscar Solis, 30, who moved to the Sunshine State. In January, after being sprung on parole from Indiana, allegedly yanked Randall Crook, 60, into his home on April 19th and butchered him. God, Cook was making final delivery of the night, and that should be that he let off. He let off called final. It's called final delivery. And it's based on that. I'm trying to make a little bit of what they're all saying. And brings them in the house and then he chokes them up. Someone can we look at that? Is there, because I've gotten delivery. I ordered delivery once from them. Restaurant, and it was so, it moved around so much in the car. When you opened it up, the guacamole was all on the top, like the roof of the styrofoam, and there was just like one taquito. I didn't even know where the rest of them were. There are like mitigating factors that take to this, where it's like, and by the way, what was the order? Find out the order, the final order. But it's funny, you know, once I learned how to get it, it's horrible. But to get it out of here, so just out there, hoping someone doesn't kill you. We're hoping have just this increased likelihood that one of them's going to end incredibly bad. You think about it all the time. You're driving an Uber and then somebody gets in. I wonder if someone knows. Like, I wonder if somebody knows. Before they die, it's not home, and then they go to, I'm going to say El Pollo Loco, because MS-13, but I don't know. It might have been Italian. I don't know. Do they know when they pick up that food and when they're driving to this guy's house, they feel a little bit in the pit of their stomach like this could be, maybe this is it. Maybe this is the last taquito I drop off. This might be the last burrito I hand a guy. What a horrible way to die. You just hand the food and then he yanks you. The way the article was written, he yanks you in, and now you're in his lair. You're in the dungeon. Now, that's how you get kids to pay attention in school. Go, sure, you can do reads. I'll tell you, you might get yanked into the lair of an MS-13 guy who eats you. So do you want to do your homework or not? They're saying, what are they saying here?
Right.
Well, why? So he was dismembered, and the guys were charged with felony murder. So, of course, but this this is what they're saying. They're saying he wasn't in his right mind. He was probably on drugs. This is what they are saying. I mean, these people look. They're like good people here. This is bring the kid down there. That's really, really sad. This is great. What are you doing Uber Eats for? In Florida, I know people have to still comment on the court. Oh, you're out of touch. You got $40,000 somewhere. You're out of touch. You don't understand. People have to deliberate. I know, but do that. There's nothing else to do. Look at that. That's what you're delivering food to. Bring that up. That's who you. There should be a photo of him on the delivery where you go, no, I'm not bringing a burrito to him. He's got to get it. If you do that to your face, you have to go out and get your food. If you do that, you are not getting home delivery. I'm not bringing you an Eggs Benedict at 9 a.m. You have to go out and get your food. Screw a drive-thru. I mean, that's nuts. Big Ruff.
Analysis paralysis. Dude, you understand? All you need to know is you sitting back trying to figure out where you made a wrong turn along the line is like a schizophrenic trying to diagnose a manic depressive. No, dude, you can't go back through all your past hurts, breakups, and everything else, and all you're doing is going through wreckage. You need someone that can shine a light into your situation. What I'm saying is basically you cannot do it of yourself. So when I hear dudes say, I'm analyzing myself, you are not competent enough to run your own life. And that's not a bad thing. Again, credit. If your credit is 450, you're not competent enough to fix your own credit. You need a credit repair counselor to fix it. Then you maintain it. Your biggest concern is not getting ripped off for $300, $400, $500. Throwing it away on a dating coach or a life coach somebody. That's not your biggest concern. Sit back trying to say, well, which one should I go to? Who's qualified to talk to? Dude, all you need to know is you fucked up. $500 thrown away and you get zero return because they didn't fix your life in 6 weeks. It's not your issue. Say it again. You can't.
There was an Uber thing. It's like Cheryl's 11 months pregnant and still driving her Uber. That's
Oh, God.
yeah. It's like Jesus Christ, man. It's more especially after raped in a lift.
What happened with Uber with that?
There's a controversy now about some, like, you know, it came up on my newsfeed and then my newsfeed refreshed, so I don't know if that story.
They're in trouble again, though.
Yeah, some HR shit, so people women get harassed all the time for Uber. In, like, the... Yeah, I think so.
Not just by their driver.
Yeah,
it's like in the office, too.
Yeah. Which is chill.
Yeah.
I can't wait till they just cut people out completely.
Well, I mean, we were talking about the guys who are going to lose their jobs. So, the real thing is that the next, very soon, the next decade or so, is automated. Like, self-driving cars. 30 million people are going to be out of work in the next decade or so.
Yeah, the cab drivers, that'll be a problem, sure. And, like, inner city courier services are one thing. And especially in Manhattan, I feel like it'll still always be faster to have a bike courier. So for local deliveries in Southern City, the real impact is going to be long-haul truckers. And that'll devastate the economies of town.
Yes, 20 to 30 million American men. Universal basic income goes into the mix as well.
Ideally,
not.
And would that be cool? Here's why the trucker thing is important, is because not only does it fuck over like the infrastructure, but it's 90% of all borderline racist New York podcast and radio show audiences. I didn't realize these guys are not sitting in the cab of their truck muttering slurs about everyone else on the road. What do you think? They're going to listen to Kumia's show at the mall when they're out of work? No, of course not. Their ears are swollen, forehead edema. Can't fit earbuds in there. They need the speakers inside the cab.
They have cauliflower ear from hate crimes they've committed over the time.
Did I ever tell you about that homeless guy my friends were just hanging out with one night in Rockville that had like, he's like, I won the lottery, and I'm like,
illegally parked behind the old Jeepers in this semi. This guy bought a semi. He doesn't know how to drive it. And he tells me, he's like, yeah, I just love buying electronics and shit. I was like, why are you hanging out with this guy? I just found him. Well, you got to go, right? We're almost out of time here.
Oh, yeah. I can keep going.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, I didn't know if you were on a time crunch.
No.
Yeah, right, fun.
It was fun.
Yeah, that guy was just had this truck that he bought.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming semis cost like $200,000.
Well, here's the question, like, I'm worried about it because of the horrific economic impact of putting 10 to 20 million people out of work. But I'm also concerned because I feel like, what do you trust more when you're driving on a highway and you see like a giant tractor trailer, like some guy that you just described who's like probably like sniffing crank because he's been up for 72 hours driving, or just a computer driving one of those things? That freaks me out.
Well, the thing with you can say that computers are safer than the drivers because of human error. And in the cases of human error, who do you sue? There's more accountability. Right. So if you have a man that drives his semi and kills a family or whatever, he's an independent contractor. It was that man. There's a clear answer. This is who's responsible. And obviously, you're not going to get your family back through litigation or whatever. But that's just how justice works, and that's the options we have available to us. Mm-hmm. If it's some huge patchwork of like automated systems and automated truck drives through a schoolyard and kills a bunch of kids, then it's like, well, who's it? Is it
the algorithm to court?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's no accountability. No, wouldn't the company, but it's a corporation that's protected by, so they take a ding from the lawsuit, but those companies are going to be huge. Right. And if you don't think it's going to be one or two companies that control all of the domestic, of course, trucking routes with these automated systems, just like look at like mobile networks. There's 4 companies in America that control all the mobile networks. Right. And Verizon will continue to do shit that should just be illegal. They get fined for it, where they'll just decide to discontinue service in an area and they won't fix it. Right. And they'll just charge people more money, and eventually they get fined by the FTC. And those fines are immediately passed on to the consumer. There's a section on your bill that says like additional surcharges, and then they never see any consequences. So you're gonna have if enough like big companies are able to put out these trucking lines and just literally control and write it off as an expense, because it's a lot different than like the consumer automotive market where you don't there's a lot more competition. You don't necessarily need a car. The backbone of there's no way to boycott trucking companies. They all just
like as you said, Nick, considering like every piece of food you eat is delivered with a truck everywhere in America.
Yeah. You think the government? Let's say one of the 3 companies that gets to control all of those shipping routes or those trucking routes accidentally, we killed 10,000 people. They're not going to say, okay, well, shut it down. You're going to go out of business. No, they're going to assess some kind of fine that or there'll be a class action lawsuit.
But that's the scary shit. No, I think it'll be worse. It'll be worse at the beginning, and then the system will learn from the mistakes. I think that's how the computers work.
I was talking with somebody about Y2K the other day. They're like, yeah, remember how everyone thought that was going to be a big deal, and it wasn't? It was like, it kind of was. It wasn't as bad as people thought it would be. But in England, there was a computer program that determined genetic typing for all these couples. And the computer program spit out like, your son's going to have Down syndrome. You better abort. And there's all these people that got abortion.
Holy shit.
There's all these women that had their kids aborted, and they're like, we forgot to carry the one. I'm sorry. And that was Y2K did it. It's like, but the ATMs weren't spitting out money, so there was nothing happening. But yeah, automation is dangerous. What added convenience do you get out of automated trucking systems?
The argument is that the good
cell phones benefit everybody. It connects people, and similar arguments are made about any kind
of technology.
When like Pulp Fiction came out, people were saying, this is going to disturb. It's going to be stupid because they're reading all the time.
Right.
Instead of
the movie.
No, the actual
books.
Yeah.
Isn't that what they said about literally writing in like philosophy, like
That's what they said about the printing press.
When silent reading became a thing, because you used to have to read out loud, and people started reading in their head, and they're like, don't do that.
But certain things make you smart, and certain things make you dumb. Like, TV definitely makes you dumb, right?
Reading makes you smart. I think if you're just a dumb person, it's easier to watch TV all the time.
Right.
If you don't have to think critically about it.
challenge.
But then now there's TV that's not completely dumb anymore.
That's true. But it's easier to check
But at the
out.
same time, it's any kind of like visual medium is inherently more passive because it's something that just becomes piped into your head. You don't control the exactly. Whereas you're reading a novel, you're reading it, but you have to sort of create the world in your own head. You have to use your imagination more than just passively.
But it's not impossible though to passively consume literature.
Yeah, that's why I listen to radio plays. That's all the
Fear of the mind.
I think corporations and technology are just basically filming themselves fucking the American people. Watching it back, great old time, laughing about how dumb they are.
I don't know. The bigger argument is not that like automation's a mistake, is that it destroys jobs and it destroys people's lives. That's the problem with income inequality. They have automated McDonald's now in New York. You probably don't see them because they're on Union Square. They have them all over the market. They're one of the places where they want to fire people immediately. Where people need the jobs.
Right. Well, that's also weird because, like, McDonald's in particular, really everywhere, has like almost become like de facto social services for large segments of the population. So like, what are they doing completely like untethered from any human contact?
Yeah, they're gonna write the next great novel. They're gonna write the next great song. They're gonna make the next great dance. No, apparently Walmart started hiring more people. Maybe I'm wrong.
You said it. This device is crafted to your measurements. It'll help you get a better look at the problem with those Bifrost eyes of yours.
Place while we shine this light in your eyes. Oh, look! This is stunning bastard!
Here's where we make sure our Blue Bunny soft is super soft. Oh, Bill!
Open now!
So soft. Music to my ears. Buddy,
That's it. Good.
Okay.
Now,
Well,
really?
folks, we're doing something different this week. And what we're doing is Stav is under the weather. According to him, he may have COVID or coronavirus, I'm not sure. Or he could have had too much, I'm thinking either Cookie Crisp or Captain Crunch. One of the cereals that fucks up the roof of your mouth. Because he said he had a sore throat, and I don't think he knows the difference between the top of his mouth and his throat. He's not very aware of his body. And so he checked out, and then we had a time set for 4:30 to do the podcast, and we're going to have us doing that. And now I'm in his apartment, and he's gone. He went to go, I think he went to go shop for records and leather jackets. He said he had the dead ass go get clothes. I'm not sure where he is, but, it really doesn't, I don't think it matters, because we didn't book a guest, and, most people check in just to hear me clear my throat anyways. So I'm just going to start at 4:30 anyways, and when he gets here, then he can hop in. Hopefully he was accurate when he said 30 minutes. So it'll be basically like a rant style thing for the first 20 minutes. There's a lot of stuff that I want to get into, but I feel like I really haven't been able to. I haven't really been able to spread my wings. Because I've been held back by the politics of the show. So we're gonna start off with that. Number one, something that's really been kind of stuck in my craw is a friend of mine recently told me volunteered as a hugger at the Special Olympics. And this is somebody that I left. So I had to curb my instinct to be like, you did what at the retarded or at the Special Olympics? And because there's many questions that came to mind when I heard that somebody could volunteer as a hugger at the Special Olympics. There was a paucity of hugging going on at the Special Olympics. Extra volunteers to handle, the distribution of hugs. And you can tell me that was an event at the Special Olympics or something. But I guess they do have volunteer huggers at the Special Olympics, which, is like, it's very funny to imagine that the regular volunteers were refusing to do any of the hugging. There was a guy who signed up to help out at the Special Olympics. It was like, look, I'm just going to take pictures of the retards. Don't expect me to touch them. I don't know how it works, but in the age of Corona, you can't play it too safe. We don't know how not only this virus spreads, but any other virus. And who's to say, I'm here doing my civic duty, helping out at the races by, giving them all fun nicknames and placing bets on them. And then you have me hug them, and then what do we know about the transmission of the Down syndrome virus? Then suddenly my eyes have an extra set of eyelids on them, and I'm lubricating my chin with every sentence. And I need candy to live. Oh, here comes Adam's dog. Adam's dog is here. People probably hate this, but this is very funny to me. It's a very funny way to approach doing a podcast. Is what if out of nowhere I just fired Adam and Scott, and then there's no feedback. It's a complete echo chamber, and I just really get to lead into a complete. I don't even know. Is that mental illness? Something feels, it's funny because this isn't much different than doing the show. But the idea of recording just yourself speaking seems like so incredibly self-centered, which is, there's no difference. It's the same thing. You just do it with two other people, but when you do it alone and you're aware that you're recording something that you haven't prepared at all, with the presumption that people are going to download it and be like, let's hear this guy ramble to himself in a room. It's I tell you, it's not laugh out loud funny, but it's the kind of funny, it's like book funny. It's like that kind of Mark Twain. It's the way Mark Twain was funny, and then you don't laugh at it and it's fucking gay, but, somebody works at the library, so everybody, if you want a job at the library, you gotta pretend to like Mark Twain. I kind of like Mark Twain, I think. I said that, and it sounds cool, but he does hold up a bit, especially some of the inward stuff, where he went hard. Okay, taking a look at the New York Times here. We're at 6 minutes, so 1/10 of the podcast. I could at least film an extra $600 a week. Kept jobless workers afloat. Now what? And then there's a picture of a fat lady here. Which I don't think she's going to be afloat. Am I right? How do it's so funny with all this rich stuff that's going around. Fat people must be fucking wiping their brows. Because they put themselves in the spotlight, and now, everybody's making this analogy. I see it, maybe, that we're all, stuck on a raft, that America is now just a raft adrift at sea, with no safety net, and it's every man for himself. And the classic move is eat the fat guy. That was the way that we'd go eat the fat guy, and now somehow the fat guys and the fat ladies have flipped the script, and now we're eating rich people, which they probably taste disgusting. They're all inbred. I mean, not that, fat, I can't imagine eating a fat. You would want to eat the a muscle man. That would probably, I'd pick the gayest guy, and that's who I would fillet and turn into an emergency snack. If you guys have any thoughts about who you would like to eat in terms of rich people, then I know it's just an expression. But we move past the age of expression. If you can't say master bedroom anymore, because people don't know what it means, then you shouldn't be able to say eat the rich unless you're literally willing to cut off and eat Jeff Bezos' penis. Which, do you think maybe you could agree with that? How much do you think that they love their billions of dollars? Do you think if instead of a tax, we could say that we find the most disabled, like the transest, disabledest, poorest person, and we say, Mr. Bezos, you get to keep your money, you get to keep your newspaper and Amazon, keep all of your riches. You can change the name of Amazon to Amazon. I don't know why we're doing that. Are we still saying neediest? I don't know if that's... Is that fair? I'm not up to date on that. The transits. The chorus. It sucks having to do this. But I don't want to do soon. This morning, which is that's such an awesome thing to start. Just wake up in the morning, and then watch like kind of like fuck you style guy movies, you know. I'm not the guy you fuck with. I'm the guy who fucks you. I'm the one that does fuck, asshole, fucking shit ass. Just imagine yourself as my bag man. Sit by yourself and have the confidence to think that your meandering thoughts are like could possibly be entertaining to anyone. But then to actually be able to do it, which some people don't, I don't know, this is one of the things parents do makes up bullshit. I think about the show and it's like the time and place, like specifically, having 2 or 3 idiots that are friends with each other, that you can find that anywhere. I mean, it's like, it's like this confluence of events and timing and everything. Then you look at the shit that predates it was like a 9/11, which is I think that's like the planes going over the towers. It's not everything that committed to, maybe it's commercial or whatever, but at least some thought went into it and it's produced and then distributed to people, to being just a thing where everybody does exactly what I'm doing right now, and it produces shit, and then we all just eat the shit and then get sick from it, like a big human centipede that's connected to itself. I think but you escape that, you go back and you do other stuff, and there's it's always been that way. There's always been just dog shit, like Garrison Keillor, or defending the caveman. I mean, I guess maybe Garrison Keillor does edit what he does. Maybe he puts some thought into it. But I like to imagine that the pages are completely empty in that stupid fucking notebook. And he just goes on stage, and he's like, it's windy. It's a windy day. In Wisconsin, the sheriff's pants blew off, and so did his shirt, and his clothes, all of his cop clothes ended up on the town's biggest crook. And then the criminal, that's it's like an allegory. It'll take English professors years to figure out the moral of that story. And then there was a bitch named Helga Sarsgaard, her deal is she's Swedish and fat, and she's got rosacea or something, and she's always making apple butter for people. And everybody was having a contest to see who could walk the furthest out on the frozen lake. And she wanted to do, she participated in women could do things, but they were trying to dissuade her from doing it. Everybody in Lake Wobegon, they didn't want her to go out on the frozen lake because, she's a huge fat bitch. She probably weighed more than everybody else in that fucking town. And she was like, oh, what, you don't think a girl can do it? And, nobody wants to be like, no, you're fucking fat. You're too fat to do it. So they kind of have to, tiptoe. They're like, no, it's not a gender thing. And she's like, well, what is it? And they're like, okay, I guess you can participate in so you can walk the furthest out on the ice thing. And she appoints herself. All the other women don't say anything because nobody can be rude to her about her fucking weight. And so she walks maybe 2 feet out on the ice, crashes into and that's just it's like a way, whatever. Anyways, back where were we? Lake Wobegon, and so this bitch is dying, and the moral of the story is now she's fucked up this whole gender thing by stop making it this big fat bitch moment when you put any other normal woman out on the ice and they could have done it. Never mind the fact that walking out to the middle of the lake has nothing to do with talent. It has nothing to do with ability. They choose something that requires, oh good. Are you back? Alright, I started the show already. Yeah, I've already started the show. Well, yeah, I'm just trying to do it, I want to see what it'll be like. I've done 6 minutes. I started in town.